What's up, guys? Hey, we got a wild one today. We got Deegan stirring the pot with social media. We got Arenecross. It got absolutely nuts in Reno, but it was so much fun. If you were in the Reno area and you missed it, I feel bad for you. That is some of the best racing action you can ever get. And I'll tell you what, after the night Ryan Friese had with accidents on Friday, I wish I had brought some extra Nano Extreme for him because he was hurting. But we'll get into all that and more later on. But thank you to Nano Extreme. This pain cream is awesome. I had a couple people comment that this hasn't worked for them. I sent you my email and I still haven't heard from you. Nano Extreme wants to know what's going on because this stuff has worked for almost everybody. If you use it consistently over a week, if you bought it and it didn't give you the results you wanted, please email me, chriscookseymedia@gmail.com. Let's get you hooked up with Nano Extreme and figure out what's going on and why, because this stuff's amazing and it's really good for a lot of people. Use code Cooksey for free shipping. Get rid of that pain. Head over to the Coach Rob store and get your multivitamin packs. He has them set up for concussions, immune system. Coach Rob is a genius when it comes to fitness, the body, and nutrition. So head over to the Coach Rob store and get your nutrition bundle. I have to start with some tough news. Cameron Naimla, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say his last name, but he owns Prime MX. He has a very successful YouTube channel, or did. Unfortunately, he battled leukemia. He beat it 3 times, and unfortunately, he succumbed to this last time, and it's just hard, man. I'm sorry. I send my best to their family. And what I want to tell you guys is if his wife and kids, their only income now is from Prime MX. It's not a sponsor or anything. I just want to promote them because that's her source of income right now. So if you want to help that family and another motocross family in need, head over to Prime MX and support those guys. But yeah, man, rest in peace, Cameron. The sport will miss you. It sucks when we lose one of our own. He had a really hard battle. He beat it 3 times before it finally got him, but man, cancer sucks. And I want to put this out to all you East Coast riders, East Coast Supercross. If you're a privateer and you think you can get into the night show, hit up Triumph of Harrisburg. They are planning on fielding, a team for the East Coast rounds. And what they want is they want a legit rider who wants support, who can get into the night show. If you think you can do that and you're up to that challenge, hit up Triumph of Harrisburg. And it's the off season, so we have all these cool events. Don't forget to check out the Kurt Caselli ride on December 7th. That's another rider we lost, unfortunately, way too soon. And we do the ride every year on December 7th. It benefits the Kurt Caselli Foundation, and it's just a great time. So if you are in the area, check that out.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So I spent the weekend in Reno. Reno's an interesting town. I like to play this little game called On Their Phone or On Drugs, when you see someone walking, making funny moves and everything. And I gotta tell you, Reno, On Drugs won without a doubt when I play this game. I'm pretty sure your downtown's kind of wild, but I love this town, and they have some of the most passionate fans. Unfortunately, they didn't come out in full force, but I think that had to do a lot with the series. So the series changed ownership in the offseason, and I don't know that Jetworks, who now controls it, they also run the Canadian series. They did an amazing job, but they didn't promote it as much in the local area as I think they should have, and I think that definitely affected the attendance. But those of us who went there loved it. They have a TV package. It's on MAV TV. I hate MAV TV. I refuse, ever since they ruined the Nationals, I'm not supporting MAV TV. And they're woke, and they sent Grant Langston packing because of the injection or the shot. So I refuse to support MAV TV. But if you want to watch all the crazy Arenecross action with Ryan Gauld and Kyle Thompson, great announcers. They're so much fun. They are calling the action. It's on Arenecross All Access. If you go to Arenecross USA website, click on how to watch, and it's $29.95 for the entire season of action. I think it's worth it, and I just want to support the series. I bought it. And the series this year has some serious talent. You've got Arenecross Kingpin, Kyle Peters, 5-time champ. This dude's good. I mean, he is so good. He switched to a 450 this year. I was critical of that decision. I didn't think it was a good decision. You win 5 championships and you ride a 250 as well as he does. Winning those championships to go to the 450, I questioned it. My bad. He looked really good on that 450. It was the right decision, and he's so smart, his racecraft. He had a bad night on Friday, suffered some arm pump and some other stuff, but he always just salvages. That's what champions, that's why he's a 5-time champion, because on a bad night, he salvages a good finish. He's second in the points behind Friese, but he's so consistent, and he's going to be there the entire year. He's not going to give you anything. He's going to be every night, and he gets better as the night goes on. He started a jump line early in practice on Friday. Everyone's skimming. It was not, the whoops were not set up to jump yet. They were brand new, but he wanted to know what he had to go to in those second main events. That's experience. That's knowing the situation. On Saturday, all the other guys, the new guys to the series, Friese and some of the other ones went, oh, okay, we're going to have to do that. So they all did that the next day. But the first day, Peters was the only one, and it really caught my attention. I'm like, dang, that guy's racer IQ is off the charts. But the big story coming in was we have the most hated man in Supercross, which I think is ridiculous because I love watching Vince Friese race. But he's a guy that he doesn't care what you think. He's going out there to win races and do his job, and he does not care what anyone thinks. He's out there to do a job. You gotta respect that. They've got themselves an anti-hero. They did make a mistake in opening ceremonies, and I told Kyle Thompson about this, which Thompson family owned that series. I said, listen, you have got to not, what they did is they did an intro similar to Supercross. Let's bring out the riders. Let's have a little stupid chat where they're about to go racing. They're not going to give you really any information. Oh yeah, it's going to be a great night. Thank the fans for coming out, blah, blah, blah. I said, stop that. Stop doing what Supercross does, but just not quite as good. What you do is you do something completely different. Bring out first and second in the series and face them off like a UFC face-off. No need to have these guys talk. These riders don't exactly cut promos on each other. Let the announcer cut the promos and let them just stand there with mean mugging each other. That would get it done. And when you bring out Vince Friese, you gotta come with some sort of Darth Vader music. He is your anti-hero. While he might be one of the nicest guys off the track, when he puts that helmet on, he is a true assassin. He does not have any friends out there, and he will do whatever it takes to win. So when they bring him out, have him play Stone Cold Steve Austin's, walkout music, The Undertaker, something to really let people know who's the good guy and the bad guy. And the great thing about today's world is the bad guys have just as many fans as the good guys. A lot of people don't like the good guy. We love a good anti-hero. Vince is your anti-hero. Steer into it, guys. You got yourself a star. You got yourself a guy who is made for Arenecross. Take advantage of it. And he came out ripping. The way Vince Friese gets those inside lines and is still able to triple and double, he was next level on Friday. They had this triple, a Supercross triple, where it was really hard. And you don't realize how hard it is until you see the guys in the BNC practice that just came out, locals trying to make the show, and they were having a hard time. And it was scary watching them over that triple, but it was great for the top guys because you either had to go outside or you had to be impressive like Vince and hit it from the inside, but it made for a lot of passing. They changed it for the second day and really made it one-lined, and it was disappointing. But they did it in the name of safety, so I can't get too mad. Anytime, even if it does make racing not quite as good, if you're doing it in the name of safety, I'm not nearly as mad at decisions like that when they're done in the name of safety. So I think it was a bad move, but I understand, and it was cool. I do love that the Arenecross whoops are huge. They had 10 whoops, more than Supercross. So you want to see old school, real dirt bike riders hammering whoops or jumping whoops, go to Arenecross. They had 10 whoops in a small arena, and it made for just excitement. And if you don't want to shell out the huge money for Supercross tickets, but you love the action for Arenecross, you're so close. We were so close. We were getting hit with dirt from the bikes. That's how close you can get to the action in Arenecross. The riders are accessible. It is so much fun for a hardcore enthusiast. This series has so much potential, and I do believe with Jetworks taking over, this thing's going to get some legs and go. And I talked to a lot of the top riders, and they're like, yeah, we make more here than we do at Supercross, which is crazy because when you look at Supercross, you see all those fans, TV package, huge, big name sponsors, but yet these riders who, they're good riders, like Vince Friese makes mains and stuff and gets up there inside the top 10. Ryan Brees consistently makes mains. They make more money in a weekend of Arenecross than they do in Supercross. How is that? One of my favorite guys, Austin Politelli. So I had given him some crap last year. I think I told him he needed running shoes, like the whole Mitch Payton line. I'm like, listen, this guy has got to get into shape because he's so freaking talented. When I watch him go through the whoops, he looks like James Stewart. He's the only guy in that field. There's guys that go through fast, but Austin Politelli goes so fast. He makes it look like a flat straightaway. He is so talented. But last year he would go really fast, and then they always knew he was going to fade, and he would drop back. And he was, I think he ended the series third overall, which is good. But with that kind of talent, this guy should be battling for wins. I asked him at the press conference, hey, are you ready? And he said, yeah, I think I am. So he came in, and he clearly had the cardio to go the distance.
Great job, dude. Cardio's there.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Unfortunately, on Friday, he had some bike issues. The chain kept coming off, which is so weird, and he was very disappointed. They couldn't figure out why it was happening, so he had a friend drive out his practice bike all night long to get it there for Saturday. So they got his practice bike there for Saturday, fixed the problem, right back up on the podium, being the Austin Politelli that we all know and love. And he had the endurance to go the distance, so he is going to win some races this year. Kyle Bitterman, the unsung hero of Arenecross. He's been in the shadow of Kyle Peters for so long, but people forget this guy's been winning races and getting on the podium for a long time. He seemed very frustrated that with the results that he's been able to get in Arenecross, that he hasn't found more support. And he sees guys that he's better than getting more support. It's very frustrating for Kyle Bitterman, especially when you see the way he went out there and battled. He got on the podium in one of the mains, and he was battling for wins in the Clash for Cash. He was on the receiving end of most of the slamming this weekend. But when you get good starts and you're in the front battling and these guys need to get past you, it gets rough. But Bitterman took it like a champ and just every time battling and battling and battling. I'm going to have Bitterman on the show here pretty soon. He's a cool dude. And it's funny, you look at some of these guys, our little guys, for that guy to get knocked around surprised me because he's a pretty intimidating looking guy. He's not somebody you want to have to go fisticuffs with. These guys on the track do not care. It is everyone for themselves. It is racing like it was in the 90s. Then you got Ryan Friese, one of the other toughest dudes that I know. It's funny, I told Tony Alessi at MCR, I said, listen, you got Friese and Friese head-to-head in Arenecross. I'm like, dude, I really hope they're able to get along all year because they're going to be at each other and neither guy will give an inch and they're both badasses. I hope that they can maintain a good relationship. They train together and it looks like they get along fine. I hope it stays that way. I'm a little worried about that, but hey, that's for Tony to deal with, not me. I like watching these dudes go out there and battle. Friese won the first 2 main events on Friday, took the overall, so they do 2 main events and then an overall. Second night, Friese won the first one, got 4th in the second one. That was enough to give him the overall. MCR won both nights, and Vince Friese has the point lead. He has 5 points over Kyle Peters, and in Arenecross, that's pretty big because they do the points like it's only 1 point difference between second, third, and fourth. Like every position is just a point. So it's really hard to make up points. This year, I don't think that's going to be a problem. There's enough good guys to get in the mix and take points away from these different contenders. Check out Epic Garage Designs. Travis has some of the coolest garage stuff you'll ever find. Flooring, slat wall, cabinets, you name it, Travis has it. He's a motocross enthusiast that just has cool stuff to make your garage more comfortable. Ride Strapped. Check out Ride Strapped. This is a goggle company that believes in really supporting the sport at a grassroots level. And to that point, we are going to North Carolina at the end of this month to support a local race. So hit up Ride Strapped, get your goggles, get your glasses, and just support a cool company. Precision Transport. If you're shipping anything, hit up pretransport.com. This is a family-owned business that really takes pride in getting your package where it needs to go at a reasonable cost. They give good tracking and customer service, the lost art of customer service. Hit up pretransport.com. Now to the e-bikes or the Stark class, because there's no other bikes. They're all Stark Varg motorcycles, but they've brought in some big names to really get attention to this and find out if these things are the future. Is this where racing is headed? Unfortunately, I think it is, but I truly believe it needs to be its own class. And I think it is separate. It's not something it's going to replace gas. I don't see that happening. I see it being an additional class. I would love to see 2 pro classes just have electric and gas and let guys choose. And what I really like about this new series is it's giving guys like Josh Hill, Justin Bogle, a chance to still make money in the tail end of their career. And then you got a guy like Kalana Humphrey who's on the way up. It gives him some publicity and a chance to really make a name racing these veterans. With that said, this Reno crowd doesn't like electric. I talked to my buddy Lane, who runs Big Valley Honda, and he's like, listen, this is not a woke area. We don't like electric. It's not going to go over well here. And it didn't. The announcer's like, what do you like electric? And you heard nothing except for a few boos. And they said, what about internal combustion? And it went really loud as I heard it all night long. I think that will change as they get more guys into this class. It was very anticlimactic seeing 6 riders on the gate. And then when you have the gas bikes, there's 15. It just looked like they forced it. With that said, I brought a friend with me who'd never been to dirt bike racing, and she absolutely loved it. She's like, listen, those are better. They look smoother. They look faster. I like them better. So there is a place for electric, but it's not for those of us who've grown up on gas and the loudness and all the things, and those of us who are so sick of having woke forced down our throat, because when we see electric, we think of woke. But what I need to do is change my thought on that and be like, okay, well, it's not necessarily electric, it's not a woke agenda, it's a we can open more riding areas agenda. If I look at it that way, instead of just being woke, I'm way more receptive to it. And damn, those bikes look fun and they're fast. The kids' classes were fun, but man, those two strokes smoked that arena out. And I do get worried seeing those kids on 85s launching that catapult. It scared me, and I had nothing worse than seeing a kid get hurt. And I was just, nothing happened, but it just scares me. And I don't know if we should put them in front of the crowd at that age. I don't know. I would much rather see a pro pit bike class. I think pit bike racing represents everything that is Arenecross. You get slamming, you get fun. I think they should have a pro pit bike main event at every race. I think it would be more exciting and fun. And I did have a spirited debate with Mike Burkeen over the fist fight. Mike Burkeen is the AMA official that was overseeing the event, and I pleaded with him not to disqualify either guy involved in the fight. It was a stupid fight. It really was, but it was fun. It was Arenecross. That's what happens. These guys, small arenas, big bikes, tempers run hot. And the reason they fought was actually probably one of the smallest reasons you should ever have a fight. One guy went around the whoops and was going really slow, and the guy behind him wanted to go faster and yelled some obscenities at him. Next thing you know, it escalated into a fist fight. Really, that's what it started over. There wasn't actually any big action on the track or anything. It was you were going too slow on the side of the whoops. I talked to Burkeen for a while, and I do agree with him. The way the rules are written, he had no choice. He had to disqualify them. But he made a point to say that's all. They're not going to have any excessive punishments just tonight. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? Believe it or not, Sean was right there from Arenecross. He goes, wait. Is Cooksey agreeing with the AMA? I'm like, yeah. I see where he's coming from. It makes sense. So it was kind of funny that he was like, wait, I'm going to film this. Cooksey agreed with the AMA. I agreed with Mike Burkeen in his enforcement of the rule as it was written. I think the rule's stupid, but he did what he had to do. What I would rather see is if you throw a punch, then you should have to start backwards, but you get to race. That would be more fun. And when you go to an event like Arenecross, the riders, their families are all hanging out. Friday night, I got to meet Casey Carmichael. He rides, he's a local pro, rides outdoor nationals. He's about 6 beers deep. I'm like, dude, why aren't you racing? He's like, I don't have any Supercross suspension, and I don't know. He's pretty drunk. And then all of a sudden I look in practice on Saturday, he's racing. He decided to race and just pulled out. Like, wow, that's pretty cool. I asked him, are you hungover? He's like, I was in the first session, but now I'm good. Ended up getting third in the B main, and I like the B main. Moto X Pod co-host Doc Smith took the win in the Saturday B main. Great to see Doc get a win. I was pumped for him. And the Iron Man of the weekend is Michael Hicks. He came from the GT Arenecross series. He's their defending champion. He told me he makes more money with this electric deal, and he made more money racing the electric and the gas versus if he had won everything at GT Arenecross. And he's based out of California now, so it just made sense for him to switch series. But this dude was on the track all night long. I have no idea how he did this. Arenecross is high intensity, 2 main events, and then in the middle, when the other guys are resting, he's racing the e-bike. It was gnarly. Hats off to Michael Hicks. You are an Iron Man. So Hayden Deegan is at it again, and I love that he's talking trash to Levi Kitchen. This keeps it out there. I always tell you guys, with this sport, if you watch it, it's so cool to see the jumps, the speed, the roost. But after about 20 minutes, you need a story. You need a why. Hayden Deegan always gives us a why, telling us, talking trash, starting trouble with Levi Kitchen. He's giving us the why. He's giving that. This is why this kid is so good for the sport. And props to Levi Kitchen for not just ignoring it and coming back at him and becoming part of that story. Love him or hate him, you care about him. And that's all you need from your riders. They are entertainers as long as racers. And to give us a why and let us in on some sort of, I don't even care if it's fake. It looks real, it feels real, and it gives all of us a chance to say, oh man, if he loses the Kitchen, they were talking trash. It's good. So thank you, Hayden Deegan, for having a personality. I appreciate it. And you too, Kitchen, for participating in this. Thank you to everybody who came up to me at the Arenecross. I had a friend with me, and she was worried, like, are people going to hate you? I'm like, no, that's not how it is. That is a few people who do bad things in this sport who dislike me. The majority of people like me. And when they meet me, they go, oh yeah, you're not just a reasonable person that likes the sport and covers it. I'm like, yeah, that's it. But I want to thank you guys. And the flagger, the finish line flagger came up to me and said, hey, thank you for the flagging videos. Thanks to those, I'm a better flagger. I'm like, holy crap, really? That alone makes my videos worthwhile. I don't say stuff to tear it down. I say stuff to make it better, safer, and more profitable for everybody involved, including the promoters. Thank you guys. I appreciate everything, especially you members. And I will be back tomorrow with a breakdown of the Paris Supercross and everything that happened there. I had some interesting observations, and I love Eric Pernard as a promoter, and he did some